Good morning, everyone. This is Quill Scroll reading Adventures the TARDIS with Takashi.
Yeah, this time I was the one who wrote it, and Quill is the one who was reading. I
Yep, we
mean, let
decided to
let
do a switcher.
that could have been a very good episode if I wrote something and you were reading. But no, we are still reading Adventures in the TARDIS.
5. A Brief Respite of the Thog of Fear arc.
After having a brief respite for me, having work. So, do you wanna guess what I guess as today's keywords are?
No, but I would like to see.
Well, we are having a respite, and I can see someone asking somebody else about some muffins. It could come either way. It could come from Durfee, it could come to Durfee.
That could be a really good guess for this chapter. We'll see if it's actually there.
Either way, I am here. I am here. No, we are here. Actually. I wonder how they are like, oh yeah, we are having a brief fight now. Nobody's attacking us.
Looking at this position of the screen, I realized Bamboo either looks like he's looking up at the text, or maybe looking past it at you.
Could be either way.
Hmm?
Maybe he is looking at you at the moment.
Or Trixie in the background.
Probably both.
Trixie's always here, watching.
Let's be honest. But either way, let's see what is happening in the brief respite. Other than me losing my voice. There we go! It's a kind report in the future time. As she knows on the hemispherical barrier, and now surround the party in a 20 feet radius, courtesy of her magic. I made the barrier opaque, too, in order to ensure we do not give any visual information. She does to face the rest of her friends and floats out her radical lollipop moment. And that, she goes a few inches below the earth too. There is no possible direction anything out there can reveal itself in this barrier to the plane, because there is none. I feel like that feather wind would be very uneasy because there would be no wind then. And there is no air either, because that's part of anything. And I'm using my isolation tool lever to bypass any sound, so we continue with this same barrier. But to end, the mouse to his friends. You're welcome. No, we are not seeing it. In the meantime, Twilight is like, look how much they have to do to the second pressure of our mind, pressure of our powers, because she could just do this with one magic. Remember, she did it in the library.
Yep. And she had a cocky expression too when she did it.
I mean, she didn't make it opaque, but she could.
Probably.
I feel you would. Okay, said the doctor, casually. I see he force wedge floating chair, more. Then floats the lemon back into a mouse. Meanwhile, the wind floats a cluster of rocks in one spot, attempt to heat them using the different method. Doing, he attempts to identify the air pressure around this cluster of stones. May I see that new shield, please? As I request, I salute the storming, who in turn settles on the ground in order to recuperate from serious ordeal. I mean, there is a serious ordeal of me trying to speak.
Hmm?
Actually, I would like to say it as well. To chimes in. Me too! That also pops in. No, it's mine! So we lose by a fall between each bully. I was in looking at her shield. In the end, he takes it off and uses a wing to open it to Zelda first. That face to the other two. He requested it first. I'm sure he won't mind sharing it after he's done expecting it. He was still in one place. Until he's down and raises his four hooves in surrender, as he said. It's fine. I'm in no rush. Especially considering I am, a Time Lord. Hold on. Bring it in, Doctor. Coming in the brown, again next time wearing stallion. No, that's just who I am. It was better flying in, as filming. But he lowered his four hooves and said, what goes in that bringing? I consider a mere fact.
It's close to your guess, actually.
You see, I was not again. I get breakfast. Know why? Because I can't really talk while eating, so they're gonna be here in the side. But I will have something to eat afterwards.
Yeah.
You can admit, you can't argue with that. Let me say to something with a small font again. Font. Oh. Sorry, my mind is shuttered at the moment. And the wind said something with a small font again at her. Oh yeah, I was heading tight in the beginning. Then I lost where I was. Then I'm proclaiming that I am a unicorn, or that you, he nodded to the serving, are a mare. I mean, that is not always a fact. Think of the gender band planet. For instance, then you can say you are a mare anymore.
On that planet, though, he would still be a unicorn.
Probably, yes. Somebody shout, as she said. I can argue with that a little bit. It still does kind of sound like brain to me. Also, claiming that you are a unicorn is also bragging. Most of the time it's what? Remember when the three clans were not really together? They were at their each other's throat. When they are saying that I am a unicorn, that also meant that I am a better being than you. That would be your perception of him at his rate. The guy argues.
That'd be your perception of him and his race.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, he said that be perception of. I think he skipped the word your entirely. I sort of heard.
Happens. Anything in my mind. That would be your perception of him and his face. Okay, are used to something. Actually, curiously floats out the teacup and also that plate. Also, inside of it, the liquid appears to be saving, and yet it does not for her holographic glasses. I'm going to call its position as superior to complex so much as you. You know that's something. Have infinitely complex when you compare yourself to the doctor. If you really were in his position though, you might not find as much envy as I might otherwise think at the moment. I mean, not if I was a Time Lord, then I wouldn't be inferior to the other Time Lords. Following the statement, I took a blow the teacup closer to his lips and blows on it. That was the liquid in the teacup. On the teacup itself.
It's something hot, therefore it's producing steam.
Yeah, but if I have something in my cup, I don't blow the cup. I will waste that of it. So I would say, blow the teacup closer to her lips and blows in it. What is that? Dr. S. and Dr. Kennedy, as she blinks at the white Magi man with her nerve light. Tea. Dr. Kennedy answered nothing. More specifically, jasmine tea. Not really matter because it's fake. I find it calming. Would you care for a cup? Only if you give me muffins too. Sure. Sure. Nothing chops. While you do that, I'm going to pull out other snacks from me and the rest of you. Ah, there goes the muffins. Come on, Sean.
Yeah.
Let me take a break here. I mean, this would be more interesting if she brought out something like biscuits or something. Let me guess. And I mean, that's what I mean. As if I did not appear should look. It is muffins, right? I mean, there is no break time without muffins. How did you know? The appears what I mean, then also in blink. He leans her hand forward, and thanks to with a mystified expression. Is we are coming off on you? Honestly, maybe she is. But the wind answered as he got the sword out of him and below him. But in this case, it would be better to call it an educated guess. Are you bragging now? That you are educated and the others aren't? Maybe the reality is. But yeah, no, you know what? We have all the time to know you better. So we explain to Duffy. Oh, I see. Well, every pony in Ponyville knows that I love muffins. Duffy gives an innocent shrug. That would make more sense. She then tilts her head as for the wind. She asks him. The wind? He follows the question until he looks back at her and asking, what are you doing? Oh, right now? He looks back at the stone. I'm attempting to heal these souls using air pressure instead of my home beam. If I succeed, I can cause the souls to emit more light. And heat, it's costing me my magic. Yeah, but make sure that no one is standing in the point where you are making pressure, because that could
Oh
hurt.
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's not visible, it's just air pressure. But they will feel it.
Oh yeah.
I suspect you didn't use a lot of mana in the last fight. and I figured that she was appraising, serving new shit for a moment. There goes for the wind. Tell how you motherfucker right now. Do you see anything unusual about it? This slower than usual? Faster? About the same? I mean, it is definitely slower than in the other planets, where the accident. Or definitely slower than in the peaceful planets where travel was.
Correct, yeah. The magic was stronger there.
We did just to a break a few minutes ago, and I responded as he gets number sensor. I haven't been able to answer that question better in a few minutes, but so far, I would say my rate is about normal. The same rate as my native time in Equestria, in other words. So this is head further, and your turns are more straight on, they said. And I have to admit, it is a bit surprising. After all, the fog out there is composed of dark energy. I anticipated it to hit my magic recovery for the same reason that ancient paradise continent enhanced my magic recovery.
You just mentioned that.
Yeah? I mean, think about it. Negative energy is still energy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it would enhance your magic recovery too. I mean, all you have to do is just welcome the negative energy inside, which is not always a good thing, but he could, if he realized that, then he could do it. As I look back at the dome operating the shield he's holding, as he explains to Mother Wind over his shoulder. Was that another blessing of the TARDIS? When you step aboard these ships, you become simultaneously attuned to them. At the same time, release your life force energy to a timeline that needs to your own. So unless you enter an area with a superior magic recovery, TARDIS will assure you will at least be able to recover magic at the same rate as your native world at the end timeline. I do believe they mentioned something like this.
Yeah.
So the magic recovery might be lower here, but you don't feel it because of the TARDIS.
Yeah, but strictly speaking, probably just because of that.
Yeah, imagine if you had an energy bar, just like the phones, and you could always see how much energy you have. Like, after work you would be like, oh, I'm at 10%, I should go to sleep.
Dr. Kelly's got something like that. She's got a lot of scanning equipment.
Yeah, but the human body doesn't work like that. And then people would notice that, oh, actually coffee doesn't actually work at all. It doesn't give any energy. The energy is zero. It just feels like it can give you energy. That's interesting. Dr. remarked with a fascinating expression as he rubbed the bottom of his jaw. Even I didn't know that. Wait. Oh, Salazar was the one who said,
Yeah.
like, wait,
Mhm.
how does he not know if he is the one? Maybe because you are more accustomed to the other universe, the one with more humans. You don't really have magic in there. You do, but not really. Not as open as we know it in Pony World.
Yep.
I can't go into Express here because we are not all in Express here at the moment. We don't know where we are. Sarah explained as he takes his shield back and thought. The shield, not his shield. And thought, while lighting his horn with golden light. He watched as the rubber shield gleamed at various points, In this universe, I think maybe more pervasive. So I'm guessing our ships adapted accordingly. Our ships. I can't tell it today. Aside from that, most of the ships we have in the night fleet were made in this universe, either by the rules of the Time Lord directly, or by other builders. We are recruited into our fleet ever since. That is actually dangerous if you give the blueprint to someone who was at the Time Lord.
Well, it's probably supervised by the Tormlars. At least one of them.
I mean, yeah, they are supervised, but other enemies might get a hold on the pony who, on the builder. It doesn't have to be a pony. Who knows the blueprint?
Probably not any system that's 100% secure.
Yeah. That's fascinating, but I remarked with wonder. Even after centuries of me using it, the audience has some interesting things to reveal. Those that truthfully, I think it's meant to resist that conversation with the future. Traveling copy of vision. Actually a lot more than usual, in fact. Well, the light had a sense. Communicating with some of the builders. I mean, probably, obviously, they had a chance to communicate with them.
Odds are then, those builders would be more accustomed to newer models. The TARDIS that the Doctor writes was supposed to be an antique in their civilization. I remember one commenting that it should be in a museum.
I mean, I know for a fact that they definitely communicated with the builders, and they had some of them, because someone had to build the space station.
Hmm.
Which is a TARDIS
Oh yeah.
as well.
Oh yeah.
And we know that it was built by the blueprint that, or at least imagination of the Doctor. That are informed as he passes that as he then passes the ruby heart-shaped shield to the Doctor. They were able to inform us of some of these hidden things as well. But the Doctor accepts the shield and starts getting it with his story screwdriver, and I looked over his shoulder at something, and nods to her, as he said, "Thank you for allowing me to take a look at it." You're welcome.
What can I say except
You're welcome. Something inside with a small smile. Careful. But I've been advising the Doctor cautiously. I expect so the vibration can shut out the shield the easiest. But be careful about saying this out loud. Yes, you have a. Hey,
Sonic
you
Death in it
are.
right now?
It is actually happening in the moment. All around you. Just like vibrations. Don't worry. This is just a simple scan. No story short. This is finished in a few seconds. You'll find the Dr. Candy next. It says, "I am done. Here you go." I am already finished scanning it while I was in the wind. Dr. Candy's hand on the Doctor, while lifting a hoof in objection. My Dr. can act independently of my action after I give it some instructions, especially concerning the system artificial intelligence. She and Doctor with a slightly sinister amused look as she shot. "Don't worry, Doctor. It is friendly." Now, I feel like there is some inconsistency here. Because in the beginning, you said that the drones cannot stay invisible while they are selling. And somehow in the fight and here they stayed invisible.
At the moment, well, it's not stated in the story, but it doesn't have to be invisible because they're behind an opaque shield right now.
I mean now, yes, but
Yeah.
during the fight they were invisible.
Mm-hmm.
So either they learned, either she told it. That's one possibility. So now they can be invisible. Or she lied in the beginning. Well, I think I wouldn't think that. But to act of God in perfect. But you see why I'm saying that, right? Because it was
Yeah.
explicitly said that it can be invisible. I'm leaning towards the she lied. Because she wasn't trusting them as much yet. And Mia didn't say anything because she knew that later on they will know. Because, that's what I replied. Actually, some of the history records I read about the magic archives, of which some of them might be some of your future adventures, you seem to have a habit of not getting along with artificial life forms of various types. We are leaning actually there. That, yeah, I didn't want to worry you too much that these can be invisible but still do all the things that they want.
It's it's the track record I've noticed when I was watching the show. I don't know. It's kind of my personal opinion here, but it was rare that he had a friendly relationship with an artificial life form. K9 was one of those rare exceptions.
But it was made by him.
Uh, I thought that, but I discovered the answer is no.
Or made
He
for
actually
him.
he acquired it from its original inventor, and bought a second model when one of them stayed with one of his companions when she left.
Ah.
I used to think while I was watching the show that, like, God damn it, Doctor, he should have kept that companion because it was one of the most useful companions he ever had. And then eventually I realized actually he did keep that companion for a very long time. His fourth generation was really long, and he had that companion throughout most of that adventures.
Yeah.
But it was equipped with scanners. It had a shield that used only once, a nose gun that was capable of several settings. Um, it did have occasional power problems especially when it was using its like high-powered laser for a while, which makes sense. It was probably the most damaged companion, but at least he was able to recover from it better too.
No, the most damaged companion is the TARDIS. We know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't seem as if I try to be interested with them. Doctor, might I remind you of the one Dalek that you are? No, you are Dalek! You have to be evil! I don't care what you are saying. You are evil! Are you sure you don't try to be interesting?
I've seen him be snooty and dismissive about it. Like an AI was talking to him, and he says, like, you're just a machine, as if it doesn't matter.
So he is a racist against machines.
Yeah.
I mean, for obvious reasons. He had
Yeah.
bad experiences with them. That's a complaint. It's just that some of them have bad programmers or creators, or the machines decide to rebel or all kind of various things. Also, I don't always fail to get along with machines, in short. It all depends on what they are made for, and if they are functioning properly. In fact, some of the time I met a robot alive who participated in some of my adventures. And then I decided it to somewhat resemble a dog. With
I
that
actually made a
technology.
mis- I actually made a mistake there. After I finally actually seen the show, but it is true. that he helped to repair it a lot, and some of his companions helped.
Yeah, either way, he doesn't have to say the truth.
Yeah, that's true.
Whoa, really? The appears with fascination, and then made a bit of sharp blush. She told her this idea sounds adorable. Did you do this again? I mean, I would need some parts for that, which I don't have.
Yeah.
It needs a little time, which I actually have. But Padawan doesn't really. I could, Doctor replied. I'm sure I made if need me. I plan to wait all this for such product back at the ship. I didn't use the time I need to build it. But this time I have a lot of companions. So I don't need it. He left his lips with a hoof, thoughtfully, before adding. I think I must still have the light schematics right in the ship somewhere. Well, anyway, Petra announced it. I still just my turn to look at for the wind. By then, it is clear he tends to change the subject. He does so by commanding. I have to say, Fenowin, the impromptu artificer, I find you remarkable. I already knew you made other things in the past, more than your Miss Cloak to date, but that item? He pointed at the machine, of which the store passes by serving. You made it in the middle of battle. My, call me impressed, Mr. Win. And I shall name it the Crystal Shield of Heart, +2. Because D&D terms, right?
You remember later on, he actually constructed a full armor set for Stormwind using uh, a meteor that fell into the planet. Uh, by
Actually,
that time, she did not have the Ruby Heart shield, so sometime between that and that adventure, she's going to lose this one.
I mean, maybe the doctor is taking on a little bit too much. And once again, they said it's a flaw that ambitions can go into shatter. And yes,
Yeah.
you have an opening, but what if the enemy is already inside? What if it's a hook inside the dome? And Vision is not here to tell you that she is there. I mean, she would be able to start it, right? We don't know. Either way, there are a lot of other creatures that can shatter our shield. I think I feel a little bit of peace from this stone. The remarks aloud. They mean that to have heard several Arabian pains at first. And there was who near the stone, but only from one, considering all the intense air pressure near them. I had to get worried that I wish I had these stones first. I can give the stone a scan to inform you a bit of the falling point to scan your front. You are definitely not using enough pressure. But you are literally just lowering to the that maybe a little bit more. But for now it is very slow.
Yeah.
No thanks, I tried to figure this out for myself, but thanks anyway. He expanded to Scully. I don't want to always rely on your abilities, technology. After all, they might not be an option for any of us someday. Hint, hint. That's true. But Scully again casually as she leans back in her seat, floats out her lollipop, and floats her tea up to her lips to take a few sips. Also, There's a possibility that Dr. Kelly is the one who stole the shield at that point, but she left.
Possibly.
Or was given to her. Doesn't have to be running away, just leaving casually. As for you, Valeria Salazar, thanks for the compliment, but if I'm being honest, I can't really explain to you how I did that. I could go into detail about lectures Crystal State gave me within the crystal, but beyond that, all I can say is I felt instantly inspired during the battle. I mean, obviously, because there was a bard who was singing in the song for you.
Oh yeah.
That might have come from the wind itself. No, it was from nothing. More than that, I felt certain I could do it in a moment. I almost felt if I had to do it. And the item itself a desire to be worth to me. You don't want to be worth like that. Yes, it has, as far as I see the questioning me, and that. Does it make sense to you? I mean, imagine something like, oh, it came out of your butt? I don't really want it anymore.
What? In the butt? I said what? In the butt?
A shell from the mouth. Yes, sir. Indeed so. Assured as he finally sits down. But he not. He floats out his mobile pipe, then hangs it from his mouth. Throughout history, skilled artisans are creating remarks that they have movements like that. When some idea people recite them, and not so with such unusual intensity, they feel driven, like wholly possessed, until the idea came to them in made manifest in some form. The mobile pipe floats out his lips and flies slightly forward towards the wind to indicate him as himself. I wouldn't call that common experience for a craftsman to throw the pipe back to his lips, but I wouldn't call that unique either. He rested on the shield, then back to the wind. The item itself might be unique, but the way you felt inspired at the time, that must have happened before somewhere in the annals of history. In fact, I've had a few moments like that myself. I have heard about a phenomenon like that too. The with the cause as he looked back at the stone, he said trying to heat. Jonathan a bit and intensifies the pressure again. And then I first thought about it. I wondered if a moment like that would ever strike me during my lifetime. Then I started flying.
Mhm.
This would happen. What would happen when I did? His eyes came back to Salazar. Before this moment, the greatest comparison I have ever had something like this is the moment my cutie mark awakening. No, actually, that's part of it, yes, but really, your flying is one part of that as well.
Well, that's when he got his cutie mark and why.
True.
And yeah, when he realized who he was.
But again, as he said, now there is a kind of phenomena most poets have in common. They and the moment of the cutie mark awakening is usually a day, and moment worth of remembering and understanding. As to that, as I said against Salazar, they annotated my cutie mark was when Nerfy here first pointed it out. Before then, I had no idea what it meant. All I thought it was a tattoo or something. But I knew it came to this reality, with a mud picture already on my flag. Exact. So, not much for me to tell, really. I had mine in the middle of battle, some mentions. Back then, I didn't have time to even glance at it. It did serve one functional item, or use for me then, though. It was my body flashed a bit at night, your minds were attacking hesitated. It was as if they were afraid of, I guess, some spell or something. You give me away, me though. In combat, everything is the most moments like that can feel like an almost nothing. I mean, it's kind of is an almost nothing to begin with.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. Imagine if a kitty mark was not a shield, but actually fully beaten by goblins. My kitty mark is the time we'll die here.
I saw a fan made clip once of it was a Diamond Tiara bad mouthing Scootaloo about her wings again, and then there was an image of Apple Bloom in a boxing glove punching her eye, and I think there was music playing that would probably came from movies I haven't seen, which is Rocky. Um, after Diamond is knocked down, Apple Bloom gets a cutie mark of Diamond's face with a black eye.
So she's gonna be a regular monster, but only meeting up. Yeah, no less. Later at the hospital, I could still see it. Because much of my money was all bandaged up. In a way, my first solution was to a drawing somebody asked me. When I saw the drawing, I looked from the drawing to the ceiling above me. I thought about it for a second, then internally nodded. I told something along the lines of, yup, that adds up. I still like a cutie mark, so not much for me to tell. I mean, you are not a pony. That's an express a pony. Okay, I jumped in. I do find it fascinating to listen to all your stories in the experience. I find them very enlightening to understand the subject I am speaking with. I especially find these stories fascinating from a psychological standpoint. Ooh, mamas! That was read with a very anxious expression. And voice, I see the pop of you, the blow from Zelda from more 5. And the big fluffy pony appears as well. We don't know where she came from, but she is here. With the bonbons as well. And that's a very deep blue fish. You can notice the dolphin, and it is forward as nothing. As she said, I rest my case. After that, she takes another sip of her tea. Hey, want to see my silver bird? They're kind of my specialty. She says her flag. I mean, she doesn't dare to turn her hand. She's already looking at her flag with her eye.
From something else, I came across the term bubble butt. Well, that really fits Derpy to a T, actually.
I mean, in one sense, yes. There's another. The professors are excitedly. They are enchanted. I got them from an ancient paradise world. Oh yeah, true. From the little kid.
Yep.
Tara lifted an eyebrow and nothing as he asked. Enchanted, you say? And yes, please demonstrate. I would very much like to see that. I thought you were going to offer us muffins. I thought too. That was my nothing. I actually am kind of hungry. Hey, I told you my summer boats are enchanted. They taste like muffins.
given the fact she has enchanted bubbles, maybe she just blows them and has the image of muffins within them.
Maybe they become muffins. In a moment, I promise. Sophie assured that she knows her anti-disturb monster from another place. Here present is the mama feminine. Pulls it out, then blows the light. Turns out watching the investigation, and the mama is napping blows from her stem that only have unusual shapes, like a star, and some of them have horrifying images within them, or unusual colors. The mama themselves. One of them has an image of mirrors saying, "Behind you." And then they figure out that it is not just an image, it's actually a reflection.
Suddenly I was thinking about how Derpy and SpongeBob SquarePants having a duel with bubbles.
Mama fine. Gaston might have been fascinated to see this as well, since he had never seen the either. But he is currently nothing. Or at least, looks like he is nothing. I imagine like... Does nobody even eye?
He's gotta sleep sometime.
But it's a thing that he's actually showing you a different explanation. My, that is fascinating. So that has Luffy in the night. Luffy, do you mind if I keep a small sample of that? I want my artificials to analyze it after this adventure. If they do, they might be able to reproduce it. I may be able to grant you as many bottles of that stuff as you want. If you will do me a kindness by giving me a sample of it now. You want to get this here, I promise. Yeah, Luffy jumps happily. After that, you can blow into the bubbles from your pipe. That is the plan. Sana agreed. In the meantime, you can explain to me how you are doing that. Are you visualizing specific details of each bubble? Some of them, yeah. Luffy said as she looks among the various bubbles as she blew. Smiled and said, "You know, until now there was one probably impossible. It could bubble below me, despite the fact that I am the one with bubble cutie mark, and that is Pinkie Pie. He has effortlessly blows bubbles in all kinds of crazy shapes. It was fascinating to watch, but with this thing. This is my nose ex machina." The pure acting so much upset terrifyingly. I might finally have a shot at if I seem even that spotted anything there. And then the thinking like, "Oh, you have one too? I have this one as well."
For bubble emergencies.
Yeah. Every smile goes into a seeming one, which is the first time any of her friends are around her seen her do that. At last, Edward is mine! I will surprise her. I smash Celestia.
It'd be so adorable. You gotta do stuff like that when you write for her, you know?
Now we can have this. Now which one is Pinky and which one is the brain? I mean,
Wait a
funny
minute.
enough, they actually
The
have
brain is stuffing his hands into his belly.
I mean, no, in the case, that was created by the belly.
Yeah, that's why he's so grumpy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yo. Yeah.
When you do resume, you were done with that paragraph.
Yeah. I admire your enthusiasm, Miss Brighteyes, was a comment her fondly. Why, thank you, laughing replied brightly. That is very sweet of you to say, Doctor. He sighed as the rushing bubbles popped out around her head. I continued to regard her lovingly. Then she said quietly, "This is one of the reasons why I love you so much." Sarah gazed in amusement, and the apparatus had cleared his throat, and decided to change the subject to something more serious as he called out to Dr. Kelly. "Dr. Kelly, you said earlier that you finished your scan of the various creatures we encountered in the method. Do you have anything notable to report? After all, we might face them against them again. You could secure a better advantage against them if you face them better informed." "I do
This music
indeed."
will be fine, but this is when probably a tone shift occurs from lighthearted to more serious.
You don't have to change too much.
Yeah.
"I do indeed. I found that information around them. As you can be informed, but she does, she suddenly sees the serious focus of the rest of the party. Even Storm, who is otherwise nothing, makes an ear to aim in back in the Magi.
Kind of what you were
Is it
saying.
her tea that floated back to the social scum as she began her lecture? First of all, I didn't detect the energy coming from those creatures with the dark magic signature. And not only that they were solid at all because of that magic. I also studied them and they dissipated. When that happened, their magic seemed mostly consolidated in their bodies. You despaired when they suffered too much physical damage. That is actually good news. He has an elbow on the arm of a floating semi-spherical magic and has an armrest of a chair. He resumes by saying, "Kind of energy and identity from them should come from somewhere. You know what? It isn't produced out of thin air. Or some alternate reality like Kamala can conjure. No, it is coming from a thick air or a fog. He said there must be a source for that energy, and I have a theory as to what that might be. And if only here, can several educated guess what that might be? I mean, yeah, that core to the body that I already said, that they have a core. Even if it's not inside the body, it has to be somewhere." The police and the creatures that are kept in this fog, the fingers, to be with, we only know that what we are dealing with. He is corruptly changing. Before she got twisted by the same bite into a creature that she became, he only had a hoof in the dark side of the force. Namely, as a race, he had to feed of love. Beyond that, we all know that she has to sustain herself through emotion. After a mutation with the same mind, it might be possible she now can feed off other emotions as well. We know that the symbiote is a collection of every trait of its best host. They include strength and weaknesses, but the symbiote already has a weakness of its own. it must be no certain protein and nutrients available in the blood. Hence, it's vampire like qualities. I mean, they don't have to feed off emotions, but they feel like they have to. They have the constant hunger.
Some stories I read about them, fanfics of course, that mention some consequences that would occur that could up to death if they do not feed off the emotions long enough. But in a state before that, their like frames get a little more brittle, and they have very little magic to tap on, including magic required for shapeshifting.
I mean, for a
So
certain, we know
they
that.
they lose that ability too when they're starving.
For certain, I know that they eat normal body stuff as well. They can eat normal body stuff. They do have a stomach.
That seemed to be especially true after their metamorphosis with Thorax. They seemed to be eating normal food after that. Well, normal to them. It seemed to have a heavy bug diet. But they apparently were interested in grains too.
Yeah. So he became a vampire who is constantly hungry.
Hmm.
I mean, that's really true for most of the vampires to begin with.
In the combination here, they really have both needs. She's got to feed off emotions, plus she needs to feed off blood, because the symbiote needs to feed off the blood, and she, the host, needs to feed off emotions. So really, you need both. Like that's like saying I need food and water.
So she is becoming in I wanted to say too fast. Uh
I've never heard the term emotional vampire. Or so some people could just be emotionally draining to you.
I mean that's what they call me as well.
Okay.
I can sometimes say stuff that literally days that are actually out of them. Yeah, she became a mix of a succubus and a vampire.
Kind of, yeah.
So she is literally luring some other police into the bed, get them to love her, and then suck their blood as well.
Pretty good at that. If you can mind scan plus shapeshift, you can make sure they're in a form that either scares the target or seduces them, no matter what their unique kinks might be.
I mean, they can immediately just turn into somebody that they already love to begin with.
Unless they into something that really is difficult for her to shapeshift into, like maybe gas or pure energy.
I mean, imagine if she can turn into a pure energy. That's a
Hmm.
terrifying ability.
I haven't seen them ever take the form of liquid, but I suspect they can. If they can take a form of a rock in any kind of object, I suspect they could take the form of an object in various different states: solid, liquid, and gas.
So, if she could be, then there's Mirage. That's man in One Piece can turn into light, or any form of light.
You, you think that they could that they shape changelings, physical beings, can transform into pure energy?
If they could.
Okay,
I
all
mean,
right.
once again, this is not just changing, this is symbiote. Now.
Right. What was the abilities of its previous hosts that it's acquired?
Yeah. Let's look up a bit at the side of the hemisphere on them. Let's think about the fog that lies beyond it. He seems to himself grandly for a moment, then said, "Was I saw that Mira trusted in the chapter is willing to gain this form. If that is true, he can tell the inspiration to serve my favorite purposes. I will say that, wait, what are the other artificial that made the chapter, but no, it was another chapter. That was me messing things up. He executes his plan again. We are in no family in the form, now dwell in an immense universe, with the quantum continents cooled off compared to the rest of the universe. But are very strong, he designed it that way on purpose, to have known who entered this form one way or another, and that includes our ships.
This item actually did appear in the show. It was like one of the 8 items that Cozy used to drain magic across the world.
Ah. In the meantime, I got something with me.
2 of the other 8 artifacts, I think I remember the name too, is like Clover the Clever's cloak, and I think something called Yixler's helm, who was a yak.
Yeah, and there were more brothers.
I completely forget its name, but they were chasing after another artifact that was able to create little sparkles that was able to hang in midair. It had something to do with. It had something to do with the hippogriffs, I think. It apparently had the power to affect ocean levels.
They are very dangerous indeed.
Yeah, Rainbow outright explained why. It could be dangerous in the wrong hands. Or that particular item that was taken.
If she planned things out that far, then it wouldn't surprise me if she also designed a system where she can drain negative energy from everyone in this world and gather it to a chapter. So imagine if Luffy was not here, you would be all drained of your positive energies, positive emotions. From there she can do one of 2 things. Either raise some of them, but also the make herself, testing her hunger, use some of its energy to create those 4 constructs. As game as that may sound, I'm actually being good news in 2 ways, that can informs. For one thing, it is every creature who is summoned inside the fork to get a negative energy. That also means it isn't to keep them alive. Right, Dr. agrees, it's a total violation. I haven't told him that before. Told him that before. No, that's mine, that's gonna be mine. So it's taking out the food on my table. It's me.
Right, that's where I was looking that direction earlier. I saw that.
It also means he has a limited quantity of energy. And this is not a quantum space. The carry goes on to explain. If my, or it should be our theory is correct, he was herself with the Lord, or respect to the Doctor who, in turn, has a gesture. That means he can raise across a shower of giant meteors down on top of our head. Because A, he was very quickly lifting herself of the dark energy he has gathered, and B, hitting us is unlikely to be a proper motive anyway. I mean, yeah, the proper motive is getting the TARDIS. As long as we are alive, we can keep on feeding both her and the scepter. There is a hope in objection, as she has. But remember, all of it is educated theory. Again, theory. You know what I hope for them. All I know for sure is what those creatures were composed of. They observed what happened after they dissipated. Could the scepter have regathered that dissipated energy? I wonder. It may be that she doesn't have truly unlimited energy towards us. But if she can reabsorb the energy of the fourth construct and get destroyed, then she can reclaim the energy and have it toward us again. I mean, yeah, grown-ups usually work that way. I call them grown-ups, remember? So, if the core is not destroyed, they can reform infinitely.
My mother basically said the same thing when she was reading this chapter. She had a very similar guess about them too.
I mean, for now, they are assuming that the chapter is the core.
Given the fact that I heard this from two readers now, I suspect that most other readers catch on to that pretty quick through that chapter.
Yeah, probably. Come here. There you go.
Oh, I see you moved your room up.
Yeah, I
Nice.
moved the whole room up. The characteristic uncertainty, as she admits. Based on the readings I have observed, which I also recorded, that is a possibility, but I find it an unlikely one. The only way we would ever know for sure is we get a chance to study the chapter itself. Study it carefully while we test some of those core concepts. Does the energy within the chapter increase when that happens? Maybe, but energy conversion is usually not that efficient. Usually, yes. Very often some of that energy is lost during the transfer, and this is assuming he has any way to reclaim any of that energy at all. I mean, the energy dissipates into the fog to begin with. Want to leave? Failing that, he can just learn more from the other victims within the fog. So I realized that shakes his head. We only had an incentive to rescue them. But now it looks even more important, because it means that for our victim we rescue from this fog, there is one less resource we can exploit to gather her dark magic energy. I mean, what do you suppose? You don't have any way to get out of the fog at the moment. Yes, you have a TARDIS, but will it count getting them out of the fog if you leave them in the TARDIS?
They think that the TARDIS is currently tracked because the coordinates are skewed.
Yeah, but it has an internal dimension, so if they are eaten on it,
It's,
are they
yeah,
eaten the
yeah.
fog?
Now the TARDIS itself might not easily warp out of the bubble, but you should be safe within the TARDIS. Yes.
Yeah.
And once you're in there, you're out of contact with the fog, so they probably will not be energy drained from within the ship.
And once again, when they open the door to the toilet, some of the fog already went inside. Haha! Even if we fail to rescue them right away, we get it from the objective in one way.
Objective in one other way.
And now that we have cut in the whole ordeal, we have the rescue rangers.
Hmm.
We are getting back to that. Hit them off, calm them down, put them at ease, put them out of their misery. If he agrees with that, then it would be harder for Mirage to exploit them from other energy. The element of the story learning is also true, and have been related in horror, which means that maybe the victims within this work are alive, but she probably kept them at a state when they wish they weren't alive. In other words, she is torturing them. I think she did everything they could to make that state exceptionally unpleasant. So yeah, they are something like this. And in tortured all the time. For no reason. Other than just making the negative energy. The thing occurs to me too. But this is strange because it is positive energy to make negative energy. So wait. That in itself is actually now now that I think about it. Why was Crystal hurt when she was attacked with the positive energy of the rainbow? Of love and friendship. Wouldn't it have been the most delicious magic that she had ever felt?
Probably hurt her as much as dark energy normally hurts everyone else.
Yeah, but she's
She,
eating dark energy. It would be like not so like O'Neill eating fire. And
it
thank you for the feast.
seems to be a weakness, and it cracked her throne too.
Yeah, but you see why I was like, wait a minute. Who are you? We are kids with a game not to find a win. That's the reason why I'm reporting my findings. I want you all to be aware of what conditions we will probably find the rest of the victims and I have trapped them in the fog. And they find them in a house, and when they are back and fully they are happy and there's no problem with them. The party is silent for a moment, and they each contemplate their game's possibility. Let's try the first to break the silence by saying, well, I guess we just have to further objective. A further objective, and I'm not in them heroes in this mission. For that, we keep exceptionally well prepared in the department too. For instance, Luffy, you don't proudly in the game as map, you are exceptionally good at checking up accounts and math. Yes, you have a lot of muffins. You can share them. Do you have an infinite amount? Wait, then I'm asking you. Does
Should be
she
no.
have...
No, I don't think so. But Dr. Kelly does have a virtually infinite supply of lollipops.
Ah, but that's not the same.
No, it's not. And each one lasts only about 5 minutes. But if you can keep
But...
on producing them, it's not much of a cost. Now, but unlike her lollipops, Derpy's muffins can actually be filling because it's made of real materials, so it really fills you up.
Yeah.
Instead
Now,
of magic that dissipates in your mouth and your stomach.
now I'm naming those lollipops 5 minutes of happiness.
Okay.
Let's do. Don't forget the small size mine. Plus, I got muffins. Muffins. What more can anybody ask for? I mean, you have one more thing. Your song.
Hmm.
Good friends, good food, good music, and good entertainment. Amazing anybody can want. We also have you, Doctor. Doctor Andrew Scully. The right hand and therapist, you have to know how, without any psychological trauma. Yeah, but that needs time. Two. This guy agreed. I was just asking for slower, what I said, and the
Hmm.
more involved than this and the service that can offer. But when I hear a patient, I can know some of the problem. As a result, deeper healing is eventually involved, and the process thereof is potentially be more permanent. Dr. Lord Crowley and Dr. Kelly, the next. Then there is me. I'm doctor in everything, including psychiatry. Now you are bragging. There is multiple techniques I can offer to induce the psychological recovery as well. I mean, there is one other thing that the doctor knows how to do. That is taking away memories.
Which could include traumatic memories.
Yeah? I mean, the best way to get out of this whole psychological trauma is to leave it all together. I
You
mean,
see
don't
where
you...
you're talking about this. They're discussing resources they have to help combat the threats that they currently are facing around them.
Yeah. I've been known to induce some level of entertainment and inspire resolve, and I put in. I mean, if there are female poses in there, then I can help you. But we have to remember that in this mission, we have multiple objectives on our plate. Coming down the other victims trapped within this form is not only our objective. Some attention will be necessary to neutralize the threat against us all in some manner. Obviously, we will have to confront Mirage herself at some point. Or at least prevent the next chapter from the host. After all, it is unlikely any of us will escape from this form, and no other chapter remains in the host. I mean, there's one thing that they are forgetting to mention. One very
That's it.
serious point.
Yeah.
Remember the maid that you were using? What about her?
Yep. Ladybug.
Yeah.
Hmm.
She might already be a host at this moment, for all we know. But to not even mention her during your study
For all
period,
that, she probably wouldn't be a loyal host.
she doesn't have to be, she can be just a minion.
Yeah.
Imagine Mirage How does it feel to be my minion now? Haha!
Ha 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 ha. You know, it just occurred to me how much Mirage with the Symbite resembles Shang Tsung. The ability to transform and drain energy from others.
Who?
Shang Tsung, if it's from a villain from Mortal Kombat.
Oh.
Dark Sorcerer drains souls, and because of that, he's able to shapeshift into their forms and borrow their abilities.
But he can't really do too much to Lindemark. Because time.
Correct. He certainly cannot kill her, or else he will threaten Mirage's own existence.
He cannot turn her into a horse either, because that was outside the reality. Or it is could. To create the paradox. So she has to be either controlled or just kept somewhere to fiddle. And this is their only chance, by the way.
You're done with that paragraph.
Mia has nothing belong in this time period, and will remain. You will definitely need to confront her at some point. If we can turn her to our side, somehow, then that will solve pretty much every problem we have in this adventure. I mean, most of your problems.
Yeah.
But you will have some else working out to do that. That's a good thing. He goes her seriously, and said as their family.
I think you just said the Doctor kind of specializes in that. A lot of his adventures ended that way.
A lot of them, yeah, but not except for the machine. I should suspect it is clear to the light by now how I tend to operate. I would prefer not to kill anyone, unless it is my absolute last option. It is kind of thing that was a point of contention you will against your own time. So that sadly to the Raptor. Especially in your native universe. In this one, well, I don't want to give away too many spoilers. I think it's already clear that in the time war exists, they're probably not for the same or very similar reasons. I think somebody as smart as you can figure out the rest. Yeah, the time war exists because an idiot went to the Dalek planet and made an enemy of them. And made them realize that, oh, we don't have to stay here. And no matter what anyone says, I blame the Doctor for the time war. Because otherwise the Daleks wouldn't have left the planet. Literally. For sure. Even if it wasn't his fault fully. Because it would have happened either way.
That
He definitely
is the
escalated it.
the first time the Daleks were met, or the Doctor met the Daleks, that is the weakest iteration of the Daleks they've ever met, that have a dependency upon radiation, therefore they can't survive outside of those environments, and their magnetic movement required certain kinds of surfaces.
Yeah.
They were pretty similar other than that. Had a similar tank shell, a gun that was capable of multiple settings, and weird plunger arm that's basically like R2D2's little interface device.
I mean, they didn't change that much. Even when they were the prototypes.
Mm.
No, only one when they actually changed a little bit more when there was a hybrid.
Having watched the show and seeing the original creator of the Daleks, I grew surprised to realize, especially in the second time that character showed up, how much Davros actually respected the Doctor, almost in an endearing way.
Yeah, I don't remember that part, by the way.
Mm,
I don't know when it happened, or is it earlier that I haven't seen,
mm,
or
yeah.
maybe later, I don't know. But once again, it was a long time ago when I was watching it. So,
It was interesting to see that villain actually had some respect for the Doctor.
I mean, most of the villains have respect for the Doctor. That's why they have to kill them.
I guess so. I mean, if they weren't respecting him, then they were dismissing him. They didn't think he was a threat. Um,
There were some who, not even thinking of him
but
as a threat, to begin with.
if they play their hand carefully, though, or whatever their limb happens to be, that is a sign of respect towards the Doctor. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, you're dangerous enough for me to warrant extra caution.
indeed. But the point, we are well aware how you operate, Doctor. This is you actually why you have been called and welcome to this operation. I assure you, Doctor, that the rest of the knights share your objective for the most part. Indeed, if we can somehow manage to turn Mirage to our side, then we stand to gain the most in short and long run. But, if the time appears, then I have the means to eliminate her. This might be probably be a largest obstacle to that plan, then. Along with the landing allowed. Which is why I want to try to study some of the infected, which can inform some fans. Remember that too, it's important, and this is the regardless of our mission objective. We need more information on our true and primary enemy. I don't think we will be ready to really be prepared for it until then. I mean, then you shouldn't have come here first. You should have come back to Akama and take one of the infected from there, from maybe one of the teams.
It wasn't called Agrabah, but I understand what you mean. Yeah.
Just send an area about there.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be Akama now.
I think it was called Nehabrius or something like that, which was the
Nepal,
capital
yeah.
of Saudi Arabia, the country of Saudi Arabia.
Go south.
Yep.
Okay. That's what immediate says. Okay. And I chose for the same reason. Imagine if you said that it's for everyone. Okay. That's nothing. Okay. That's nothing. That's about this badly truthful for a moment. Anything else you have to report about this Miss Monster? The attacks with the Scully, based on how you're finding that is. Let me check how far are we. There's some left. I believe so. Let's get informed. Holographic skin visibly materializing up beside her. This time it is actually there, not just in their mind. Why? It's not for the opening bubble around them. I think others around them could observe it too. Oh! Imagine the full corporate misguiding when you make a visible holograph and on top of it you put the invisible one, which shows different things.
Or the phantom one right beside it. This is what I really mean, and on the actual illusion, this is what I want her to believe.
Yeah. But it will make sense in this moment because they are in a hiding spot.
Oh, pig sphere, yes.
If it's not for the opening member around them, I think the others around them could observe it too. On the screen there, I guess, a long scroll of data. durante nuestra realidad. Esto no es ayudar from the screenshots. I believe that the component to them that we were immune to. Her eyes shifted further, and she did her hand suddenly, down at the angle, to view him over the corner of her eyes, sharply. He gave him a look that seemed to say, what she will say next is very important. That is, from what I can tell, the misconception had multiple, kinds of energy that they were composed of. Dark energy was one of them. The majority of that energy was spent creating their physical forms, but some of that energy is woven into a pattern that I recognize as one specific school of magic. Namely, that school is illusion. I mean, duh, you are in a fork that I imagine was an illusion to begin with.
I actually maybe take like a conjuration or something like that. If the mist is actually there, then you created more water vapors, and that's not an illusion. It will obstruct vision, though.
I mean, the visual form is illusion, I would assume. They are more likely just misfigures.
But you could also create an illusion of fog. In that case, the fog really isn't there.
Yeah. Illusion, you say? And I repeat, those fascinating with the discovery. Okay, no, seriously, listen. Right. This message causes had an illusionary component to them too. But I think we were not affected because the TARDIS was protecting our mind from tampering. The side effect also means protection from certain kind of illusions, affecting the phantasmal variety. I see. So I played just flawed. But because the illusion didn't work on you, then they started attacking. That's why they didn't attack in the beginning. Right?
Read on.
Wait! I don't get it. Nothing complete. I second that. Something also puts in. Remember that I was born here in the training wizard was a training of the sort. Right! Another acknowledges with a lot of understanding, in case a holographic window beside him. That's the communication crystal embedded in his flash. He must know it's to read to the message it and pointed out as he said. This is one type of illusion. The kind, the visual. Some can be also auditorial, thermal, olfactory, or basically anything that fools our five senses. You two with me so far? I mean, there is one other kind of illusion that can fool your sixth sense as well, for vision. Yep, tell me a shot. Me too, because nothing. The holographic window disappeared as I go on to explain. Another illusions are different insofar, and then the quality transporting component to it. If an illusion is only phantasmal, then it means it only affects the mind of the target. No actual light, sound, or any of that is actually there, in normal reality. Instead, a phantasmal illusion can only affect a specific target.
There's a certain kind of special eye in Naruto universe from oh man, I forgot the name of that family. But through those eye tricks, they were effectively in a phantasmal effect, seeing illusions only in their mind.
Yeah. You mean the Uchiha clan with the showing gun?
Uchiha-clan, that's correct. Yes.
I mean, the Rainier can could do something similar to that as well, so
Uh, it's part of a rarer science among that world called genjutsu.
I mean, that literally just means illusion.
Hmm.
Illusion jutsu. The time they may perceive the illusion and that is utterly real. My friends and family all around them report the team, and there's nothing there, because there isn't. Despite all the effort and the victim in their mind. The actual eyes, ears, and what have you, isn't communicating the images at all. It plays out only in their mind. And now? Sure, but some illusions are not to carry in conclusion. What does this mean when you say that these monsters have illusion component to them? What does more illusion component to make Pacific? Which you are defending against? If it was just normal illusion, visual, then you wouldn't be able to be defended against. But this one, yes. Okay, correct. This was also why we were immune to it. I mean, the original clone jutsu is kind of illusion as well.
That's correct. You would not normally able to touch anything, but Shadow Clone added a little more extra substance to the illusion, so it actually could affect reality. It was a more advanced version of illusions.
Yeah. There is never exploration towards that particular component of the monster. Without that connection, we would never have known if it was there, and were nothing from my scans. But hypothetically, let's say for a moment we didn't have that connection, and we could have been subjected to the full effect of the base construct. But in that case, the effect they would have had, I thought it probably would have been something akin to the source paper. So that and perception is very important in the fundamental illusion, because such magic always relies upon the perception and interpretation of the victim. For instance, the misconception we face that they would have taken any form. They not change what they actually are for the most part. More work will probably have meant they could see it harder, because they have more math and ways to segment. Especially true if they have more density. Density would also affect their endurance. The harder they are, the more difficult it would be for us to break them. I mean, the enemies who know about the second paper have a chance to pick it. Or the nurse told me this.
Oh yeah.
All he has to do is look at the paper, look at the ID that he showed, and ask about it. Oh, so you are from this and this place, and your name is this. But asking a different thing, that is not actually what they see.
I found it amusing when I played the Magic the Gathering card game on a certain program that and you choose and equip the psychic paper from the Doctor Who show. You have two other options you have to pick in advance that is superfluous. First, you have to choose a species, and then you have to choose a title from a very long list of titles that they have available. After that, the card that was augmented with that ability changes its name and species to that thing, so to reflect the fact that the enemy thinks you're now an angel and from the Devil's Association.
I mean, I can give you a very good implementation of signing paper. There you go.
Okay.
If you know this Pokemon can shape into another Pokemon, and
Okay.
the ability is illusion.
Ah, alright. Unlike the Ditto.
Yeah,
But then, what happens if a Ditto tries to copy that creature and vice versa?
Little can't copy abilities.
I, I feel like that's pretty much all a Ditto does, is it shape changes the species and then it gains their abilities.
No, it gets the attacks and
I
skills,
know.
not the abilities.
When you buy abilities, you mean like resistance to fire or something like that?
That and other stuff. This is usually not visible only when you are taking the stats.
Okay.
Not all games have abilities.
Still, I'm just wondering about that. That creature gives the illusion of taking the appearance of others, but if it tries to do that to a Ditto, the illusionary ability it gained from the Ditto was the ability to mimic. So then it tries to mimic itself because that's what the creature it's mimicking is trying to mimic and mimic and mimic.
I mean, Zoroark's ability is just visual and more auditory. Just an illusion, as it says. This one is more likely turning into Pokemon.
I heard rumors from the older Pokemon games that you can actually soft lock the game by throwing a Ditto against a Ditto.
Uh, I mean, no, because there's nothing that is called Target. So if you are out of moves, you can just use the move Target, which is a very low attack move, and they no totally start to turn into another thing. It's not gonna be a constant loop.
I think a Ditto only had one ability, was to mimic the enemy. But
Yeah,
if you're trying to mimic an enemy who tries to mimic you, um, somehow it glitched the game and caused it to freeze.
I mean, it doesn't totally work that way because it is actually a turn-based.
Right. That's a flaw that was probably fixed in many generations after that. First, they had plenty of time to fix that problem.
I mean, to to be true, no one uses it for fighting. They throw them into the egg laker and make eggs.
Anyway, let's go ahead. You're almost done.
Where was I?
Were you on the paragraph?
First, the mission looks to face that they could have taken any form. It does not change what they actually are for the most part.
You were done with the paragraph. The harder they are, the more difficult it would be for us to break them. So yeah, that last sentence, we did finish that paragraph.
Okay. Now mind you, that would also cost me more magic to attack them. The harder they are, the more magic it will take to make them. They are different and they are like those shadow clones. In a sense.
Well, it seems like shadow clones that can have more than one hit point, but it's going to cost you more energy to do it.
Yeah. And they can transform.
Hmm.
Basically, observe the form, facing them another factor that matters. It would be greater trouble if they had long tentacles rather than short stubby arms. I mean, they had crossbows.
Hmm.
But beyond that, the physical form hardly matter unless we were affected by their phantasmal magic. So, say that we were. In this case, the most common the form of giant cobra snake. In our mind, by interpreting them as being theoretically capable of affecting us with the force of mind. If phantasmal magic takes hold of our mind with no protection, then we would probably react and the flow of the toxin in affecting our body. The moment the apparent giant snake takes a bite of us. You would act that way, but you wouldn't be actually poisoned.
Correct. You'd only act that way. And so, Um, a phantasmal illusion typically doesn't kill you; it just knocks you unconscious. Unless it was like so scary that it might have system shocked you and you died literally of fright. Like if you had a phantasmal illusion of your head being chopped off by a guillotine, that might actually kill you because you were scared to death.
I mean, brain death is a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, let me say this through the form of dragon. The version my component. I mean, there's one exception. Pinkie Pie.
Hmm.
If you don't know that losing one of your body parts, like your head, scares you, then your mind will think about it as being that.
There was one scene when she shattered into pieces
Yeah?
after surviving several days of holding back a secret that was painful for her to do so. The very next time the camera focused on Pinkie Pie, she reassembled herself.
Oh.
Now we got the other dog. You're at the end of the first sentence in the paragraph, without the phantasmal component.
Yeah, did I say that they took the form of dragon? I don't think I said it. Independent by component, the only thing that matters about them is their physical shape. However, if you were affected by the illusion component, therefore matters in the second way. You think that the monster is capable of any extraordinary paralyzed or supernatural ability, and is passive as belonging to a form, and the mystical are true. In this case, a fire blast weapon would be especially notable for for an apparent species, except for Spike. My new unfathomable illusion will only be in their mind. In the creature's fire strikes us, but will not be affected by any extra damage. But in our mind, we will feel every iota of that heat and react accordingly. Worst case scenario is the victim actually dies because of the victim wasn't so scared to death, and passed away due to the system shock or the sheer amount of pain. Failing to that, no typical fathomable illusion will allow the victim unconscious. Since now the damage is particularly real, I still overload our brain with too much stimuli. It wouldn't work on the doctor, then.
Might not. He has a pretty strong mind. Yeah. I wouldn't say immunity, but he probably does have resistance to that.
Yeah. Now this may not sound as much as at first, but if anyone was unconscious in the front of a misconstruct, who is here enough to such an effect our bodies, then we would be at a critical disadvantage in that moment. Yeah, imagine the critical disadvantage you want 3 die and take the worst. Not 2.
Imagine the opposite too, that you used phantasmal magic to induce a healing state. It makes it seem like your wounds disappeared and you feel better, but the wounds have not actually disappeared.
I mean, yeah. Or say, the misconstruct took the form of corrected. If the victim thinks they are real, then they will be affected and the creature's ability to turn on the stone is also real. In this case, the victim might collapse into a coma indefinitely. It is thought they suffered from an affliction that, according to the mental perception, is truly permanent, if they know what the correct is to begin with. or if they turn into a creature that is known for killing with one look. Eh? Right? We don't
Yeah, that
know.
might be an example of an illusion that could be deadly. If you believe that that was the ability they had, you may react as if it was real.
Now we are giving an option that maybe the farmer, Kostak, did not turn into anything. It might have been an illusion. Just a visual
Uh,
illusion, because they are not defending against visual illusions.
uh, sort of, yes. Cornstalk, since he's probably been infected with an ability that Mirage actually has, shape-shifting, then maybe he took the form of a creature that has a deadly ability, but he didn't actually have the ability.
Maybe?
Because it's not... the illusion is... No, I'm sorry, the physical form is not real enough.
So he was a little then. Literally.
Maybe. Maybe.
Because little is literally that it can turn into anything and can get the skills, but not the ability.
Yeah, that'd be like... I don't know, like Jake the dog can mimic other shapes, but can't take their actual abilities. Unless their abilities is specifically because of their shape, like having wings. You may actually be able to fly.
You need back in a seat. I'm not going to carry, but I need back as well. And that's a photo together, as he said. I think another reason the fact that my component was there in the creatures was the fact that it appeared. To us, that could also look by mutant. But that's what they were supposed to look like. And if we were fully immersed in the illusion that was around them, we may perceive them as also real. They would appear to be exactly what we would expect for that form to look like if it had been real. Would depending on the illusion look exactly the same if it affected multiple victims? The ring checks. It depends on the illusion. If it's the same people, no. And that is one weakness of the same people to begin with.
Yeah.
You can only use it on one pony, or one person.
Well, actually, no, it can affect multiple targets, I believe, but all three targets might see something different.
Yeah, and they can mix and match of, oh, what did you see and what did I see?
And if they do check with each other like that, then they're going to start to realize it's fake, and that will change their perception of the paper again. Probably to a blank paper or something like that.
Oh, so that is why there are always two police officers saying the ID when they get someone.
It would actually help to have allies to compare notes with in that situation.
Yeah. From what I heard, generally, no. I mean, answers. On the defense, the indicator will try to give them a very specific form in mind, and each victim affected is more likely to see the same thing. Pending that, then each victim would only perceive what their mind in them as the most likely, and most common form of that species, or object, or place, would look like, smell like, sound like, and such. Anyway, now that you are on the gist of how affected by illusion is supposed to function, it doesn't really matter because it doesn't affect us. Right?
It would affect their mission. You might be able to predict what she's about to say.
You can actually not. I am hiding. This guy allotted me the verse I too. And to bring it to my main point. And this is it. Despite the fact that we are immune to this particular component of the misconstruct, it is nevertheless very important to keep in mind that the other victims within this world will most likely not enjoy this protection. Wait, what? Oh, yeah. Well, they don't have this protection, you mean?
Hmm?
They would enjoy this protection, but they don't have it.
Right.
As such, we can be dealing with other victims who will be fully convinced that these monsters are every bit as real as they appear to me, or they are family, and we are trying to hurt them, and they must actually act in accordance.
Hmm?
After that, they probably are only suffered at well, they are called the limbs of the creatures for quite some time now. I was in their arrival potentially. She shakes her head. Even if they are alive now, trouble needs to fight against the misconduct form is fully real to them. She uses her eye to Zelda as she watches him. I think groups are very much future of the Queen of Changeling, Miss Kakakorat. You missed it all, right? It is supposed to be
I don't think
Corsair,
so.
right?
I think I borrowed that spelling straight off line.
I see.
You'd have
Oh,
to
so
use
yeah.
both names there.
Yeah, no.
To
This is the right one. That in the beginning
okay.
you wrote Corsair, no?
Maybe.
It might be just misremembering.
If you're right, you're potentially the only one who caught that.
In a way, it's kind of, it doesn't have to be a problem because he might have been intentionally using a different name.
Yeah,
Once
possibly.
again, he is Ladyboy.
First time this character was brought up in this conversation.
Yeah. I didn't tell you that. Are you forgetting about her or what?
Yep.
And while about that, Tana acts grimly, then followed the same look to the rest of his companions. He was the rest of you need to me. The scan is right, and it makes most of them illusory component to them too. Then, the victim trapped in the fog will be affected by them, and probably already multiple times by now. We will need to prepare for that possibility accordingly. We set it
Like,
aside.
if you encounter the other victims in the fog, they might think you are misconstructs.
Yeah. And the miscasters are friends.
It could
It's a-
be. That seems like a perfect scenario for a changeling. A lot
Yeah?
of deception in there.
We set it aside. This is really interesting news. But he then looked at the Scully and noted to her engagement, and he said, "Thank you, Doctor, for the most insightful report." I mean, there is one thing that is reminding me. And that is the Terminator 2. Because he was actually in the body of the enemy, but was actually a friend. This aside, this is very passing news when I looked at Dr. Kelly and noticed her in gratitude. I said, "Thank you, Doctor, for the most insightful report." I assume it is also clear that what else we are dealing with when it comes to them, the insects. They don't actually have a regeneration, but they can reform any lost component of their body by using some of the remaining mass. Also, they have no true vital organs, or indeed, any organs at all. As a result, when them defeated for good, we have to obliterate the entire mass, keep them down. You will need to have one specific thing for that. This one. With an exodia you can obliterate. It doesn't complement my training well, I admit. As a whole, I was saying to in identifying a striking card as vital spot of any would-be opponent. But if the opponent lacks any vital spots, there are far more true strategy necessary to keep them down. Normally I would call that inefficient, but in this case, it is necessary. Yeah, I did call your weapon very inefficient when you were using a rapier. And it's in the form of a rapier. After that method, there are a few other ideas I'm considering to try. Also inform the group, then look at the totality. Well, request. The totality share any relevant information you get about those creatures, and display it on my holographic window. I was saying to close to it. Wasn't she already doing that? If I do so, it may confirm or deny some things of my own. Very well, done. The carrier shot. It is my pleasure to share that kind of information with you, Doctor. After all, I know how valuable you can be with this kind of data. Well, I am the Doctor. No, I am the Doctor. Doctor said, as he starts rapidly gaining the new information displayed on this autographic scene. As such, I'm a very cerebral adventurer. Yes, you are. Doctor agreed with a sharp smile. The Doctor. You know for a fact that I knew for the same way, and for the same reason. But why you do that, Doctor? That's why we should spend that time in a way that helps us prepare to resume our adventure. Tata advised. To that end, let's get some food in us. Water, then some rest. We set up again in about 6 hours. Wow, having a long rest already. Do you have a wizard in your team that spent all their money or specials? It is desired Dr. Kelly as a command. Dr. Kelly, you don't like to set an alarm. You don't need that. You don't need that. You are the Doctor. I did not say anything. I can do that too in my head. That's for sure. I keep reading. 6 hours? Nothing now. No! 6 hours something when I said it. Right? It's odd. They went out, immediately attacked, and then they are already long resting. They are truly a D party.
Right.
Look at something, I will fight.
You know, I that did cross my mind too when I was writing this. It kind of feels like a D&D adventure somewhat, and you can even see some class roles among them too.
Now imagine if they are not actually doing anything that happens. At the end of the whole thing, it tells me that, and they get off the table and close the book of D&D rule book and get away, put away everything. It was all just D&D adventure.
Well, obviously, if this was a D&D adventure, the Herb Stomp would be a solid warrior, and maybe even a little bit of a barbarian class. Um, Despite how good he is at leadership, Salazar would actually be a rogue.
Yeah, even better,
Uh,
but they are even
uh,
not even playing the same, the old character. It was somebody else. Like the CMC are playing DMD with Discord, Spark, and
Stern would
and
be
Big
some
Book.
kind of tanky class like a knight. Uh, Featherwind obviously a wizard, and Derby a bard. But I think the Doctor is hard to pin down. I don't think he would have any traditional class, something like more like scientist, or perhaps the closest be an artificer. In his adventures, he tends to win mostly through his knowledge, and he's got a lot of knowledge checks. He's got a doctorate and everything, so that's kind of the way he tends to adapt.
What would the Doctor be? Hmm.
A really cerebral class for sure.
No,
But
he
is
is a
not necessarily.
paladin. He is definitely a paladin. I mean, remember, he said that I would rather not kill, and he has a very old set of rules that he's following. He is definitely a paladin.
I
For
think
that.
he'd say he's a scientist, and he'd probably call his class the Doctor.
I mean, there is something called multicasting.
Yeah?
He literally said that I have no talent in everything, so he
Yeah?
is cheating. He is much better in everything.
Yeah, kind of a DM character.
Yeah, I mean, no. You
Mhm.
hear me? N- I mean, some DMs have their own NPCs as a player. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I can actually pinpoint who that was in the last D&D movie, too. Like, there
The
was a paladin that joined the party who was clearly roleplayed by the DM because he was explaining how all the traps work until one of the players ruins it, and that character just stared at the other one that messed everything up.
it's even funnier when the DM says the doctor and saying, no spoilers. And if he doesn't already know. Or even better when the doctor is played by amnesiac. That would be true role playing.
Yeah, for a character like that, you don't probably have to go stray a little beyond traditional D&D rules. His class probably really is something like scientist.
You know what? I have even better solution for the
Slash
doctor.
explorer. Yeah?
In a D&D game, there would be a random visitor all the time who plays the doctor. And every session they change who is the doctor. Just a random person. That's why the doctor doesn't know what happened in the other adventure. Because it happened to him, yes. It would make sense.
I can think of two D&D adventures that someone like the Doctor could be compared to. Fizban in Dragonlance and Alamister in the Forgotten Realms. And they were definitely NPC DMs.
Ah,
Really high level mages that kind of helped in the adventures, but sometimes complicated things too.
God no. Why are all of them mages, right? But yeah, either way, thank you for watching.
By the way, what'd you think of this chapter?
Oh,
If you already said it, I didn't hear that.
in the meantime, let me put this here.
Yeah, go ahead. How your little guess kind of did show up in this chapter, by the way. I was even thinking that when you revealed it, like, oh yeah, your guess is correct. Derby will bring up the subject of muffins. Feather said it more specifically, but she really did allude to it.
I said that it's either gonna be nerfing, penalty it, or someone
Yeah,
penalty
you're
is
correct.
nerfing. Part 6, part 5, part 6. Yeah.
Part 6, Part 1. Now, there really is a reason I named it that, and the other one Part 2, because the subject is similar enough, but it does have a different focus, also.
Possibility. Without thinking anything else. But
Is that all
no,
that's all your prediction for this chapter?
no, it's definitely not gonna happen. I'm pretty sure it's mostly refers to Coconut, because at this moment
Okay.
he is a hero on the hero side. But
Correct. Well, yeah. It might be conscripted, sort of, so to speak, by the villain side, but loyalty-wise, she really would be on the hero side, and especially Salazar. She's, like, really attracted to him.
and because it is a time, it is a fixed timeline that she has to be a villain. She is a destined villain.
Mm. We know she's in the fog.
I mean, we
She'll
don't
be in there
know.
somewhere,
We
so...
don't know that she's in the
Alright.
fog.
But you think the answer is yes, and not only that, she'll be in this chapter?
I mean, it would be funny if neither Mirage nor Kara is here. I mean, it don't have to be. That's literally that they can just let them be here. And you are accepted here. I can do all the things I want now.
What'd you think of the last chapter?
I mean, once again, they don't know if Mirage is listening in. Okay, because that's for that one as well. You know, she can turn into other things as well. Even though she is not a changeling yet.
Well, they did dampen the sound thanks to the sonic device, but perhaps they can shapeshift into a form that's especially good at hearing.
And also, if they are inside the gnome, then it wouldn't be doing anything to them either.
Yeah, if they were in the dome, they can see and hear everything.
Yeah, they're looking around. Ah, what is this fly doing here? I mean, they are definitely not looking around for all the little critters and bugs that are around on the ground.
Especially since the bugs could be real bugs in there too.
I mean, once again, it doesn't have to be Mirage there. it could be one of the smoke creatures.
That's true.
They can report to Mirage. I mean, we don't know if
Perhaps.
they actually have a connection or something.
We also don't know if they have intelligence. Maybe everything they do is 100% puppeted.
No, this is not a problem, Master. Oh. But yeah, we got some information that yes, they are indeed golems or cursors made of fog and smoke.
Also, they also have an illusionary component, which they're immune to, but they're keeping in mind the other victims in the fog don't have the protection, probably. So, they're gonna just keep that in mind because it may affect the reaction.
I mean, I assumed already that the fog had illusion for them to begin with. Not the creatures, the fog itself.
Well, that's basically true too. Yeah, because the mist monsters can shapeshift into anything they want, but they look like fog, taking the other form, unless you're affected by the illusionary component.
Yeah.
Or at least they look like a grayish version of whatever they were supposed to appear as. A grayish warg, a grayish centaur, grayish crossbow bolt.
I found Nerf's weakness.
Oh my god, yes, that would happen. So anyway, are we doing the same thing same time tomorrow?
Tomorrow we are doing the game.
So yeah, the Bear's Quest thing, but it
Yeah.
is the same time?
Yes, it is the same
Okay.
time.
Alright, got it.
And in 2 days we are doing the Hunter of Justice. Did I say it right? Yeah, Hunter of Justice. You go back
Oh,
and find where we
2 days from now.
Yeah.
You confused me for a moment. I thought you meant 2 days from tomorrow when we did Mayor's
No,
Quest,
no.
and that I would have asked questions. Yeah.
1 day from now.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't think I have anything else to say about that other than the fact that they are no guessing already, even though they just left the TARDIS and had a 5-minute fight.
You don't have to add this on the recording, but I'd like to ask at least, when was the last date that we did the Mayor's Quest recording?
I have no idea in my mind.
It feels like a while, like something like a month or so.
Let me see. No, it was 10th of April. Wait.
10th of
April? Yeah.
January, February, March, April. Yeah, it was about a month ago then. And probably a little longer than that too.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was thinking. I couldn't do
Yes,
anything.
they had occurred during the interim. There was like a few weeks we didn't do any recordings too in the middle of that time.
It might happen again because after I don't know how to say it because you might not even have that the day. You cannot know but soon I will go to the dentist again, so yeah.
Okay.
But in a way,
We'll do what we can when you can.
yeah. In a way,
Alright.
I'm gonna end and actually go to eat my food which is already cold.
I would suggest you reheat it. In fact, I was even thinking that when it was delivered to you.
I will just probably reheat it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright, well, see you tomorrow.
see you tomorrow. Bye bye.